Good afternoon and welcome to another one of our amazing shows. This is Real Women Atlanta Live. I am your host, Charmaine Moss. And as always, I'm joined by my co host, Miss Deidre Gary. Deidre, say hello.
Hello, everyone. It's a great day. Where? In the
In the neighborhood.
neighborhood.
I love it. I love it. We've got our own Miss Rogers on our show.
Yes.
So, girl, tell me, how was your week?
Woo! It's the first of the month. For me, so by trade, I am a property manager. So
Mhm.
it's the end of the month that follows right into the first of the month. So it's been pretty crazy. How about yours? How was your week?
Very good, but tiring. I am with a new ministry group now. They are called thank you, the New Covenant Church Online. And
Wow.
yeah. And right now there's only six of us. But the pastor, Pastor Corey, has had us on the 21-day fast. I'm doing all fruits and vegetables.
Wow.
And yeah, no meat, no seafood, no chicken. And I mean, it hasn't been bad, but and then he heard from God and said that we needed to do an early prayer call.
Mhm.
So the first week it was 6 a.m. and then on Monday we started 5 a.m.
Woo!
Yeah, and he joked about it today on the call, and he said we may be going to 4 a.m. and everybody was like, "No."
Like, let me see. Did you heard that from the throne? Are you sure?
I'm telling you. But it's been good. I mean, there's been some amazing revelation that we've received. There's been healing on the call. And I mean, God's just been showing up, and then immediately after, like you and I were talking about, I've got a girlfriend that's in a runoff election. It's
Mhm.
Janice Morris, clerk of courts, Rockdale County, everybody.
Woo,
And
woo.
yeah. And so on my walk on Monday morning, right after the call, I went for a walk, and I heard the Lord say that I needed to devote my entire week to Janice. And
Wow.
so, yeah, so I came home, shower changed, and headed out to the poll. And every day this week, that's what I've been doing. I've been going out there until 7 p.m. So,
Wow.
yeah, and it's been hot. But
Yes, it
yeah,
has been extremely hot, but it's been raining a lot, but it's still been really hot.
we, oh, that's right. There was some
Oh, it's been
rain.
raining almost every day. Almost.
That's right. We did get some rain. Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's like I said, it's been good. It's been a very good week, a very productive week. I'm excited. And I was grateful that I was able to be a big help to her. I'll be back out helping her on Tuesday. So all you folks that live in Rockdale County, it's the day of election. Matter of fact, all over the state of Georgia, there are elections going on Tuesday. So make
Yes.
sure that if you haven't early voted, that you get out and you go vote.
Yes. Go vote.
Go
Your
vote.
voice matters. You can't talk about what's going on and not be at the polls voting. Okay?
Absolutely.
We don't want to hear it. We're not interested.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I got me a tan too. I don't know if you
Come
see.
on, Pan. Come on, brown sugar.
I got me a real good tan. So
Yes.
yeah, but it's been good. So I'm excited, Deidre, because we get to talk today about something that really matters to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I first met you, you began talking to me on this subject, and it really opened my eyes, because we are accustomed to seeing things a certain way, um, and after talking with you, it shifted my way of thinking regarding this subject, and this subject happens to be.
Don't call me a single mother. You better not.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, when I heard you say that, and it sounds to a lot of women, it may be empowering, but then to others, generally, it has a negative connotation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But the way that you speak on it, um, it makes sense when you say, "Don't call me a single mother." It just makes sense. So why don't you explain to the people, our viewers, how this came to you and what this means, with you being a single mom and most of us being single mothers.
Mm-hmm. Well, to start, I have 5 beautiful children, and I have almost every class except for newborn. So I have the college student who's 20 years old now. I have high school students that's soon to be 18. He's getting ready to graduate this year. And then soon to be 16. He's in sophomore. And then I have one middle schooler that's just starting middle school. That's 11. And then I have an elementary school kid. That's 6. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I have them all in all different, everything, personalities, different places in their life. And so my whole purpose, with me being a single mother, is to direct women in a different light, in a different way. What I have experienced as a single mother is, everyone, the first thing is they see these kids and they happen to be well mannered and, we can go somewhere and they're just like, oh, wow, oh my God, you and your husband are doing a great job. And well, no, I'm not married. It's just me. So as soon as you say, no, I'm not married, the whole room is like, just draws back, right? It's like, oh, and it's like, pick yourself back up. Don't owe me like that. All right. So I hate it. I mean, and that word is very strong, but I hated that. I didn't like that light that was shine, on us as single mothers to like, well, you can't do it. Now, by all means, this isn't I'm not raising a single mom's flag color. I don't even know what the color is to say that we don't need men. That independent flag, honey, I don't put that down. You could come get me, okay? It's just fine. I don't need it. You can have this white flag.
I'm done.
Okay? You can have it. I'll do it. You listen, okay? But, it's okay. Like the point is the space that you're in and the time that you're in until God sends you your husband, you can do it. You can be effective and be able to move forward with your children. So the first start of this is my boys were kind of right back to back. They were, as you heard, 20, 18, 16, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So where I grew up, I'm from Decatur. I'm Bama made, Decatur raised.
Decatur.
That's right. And back in Decatur where we grew up, it was just kind of like, if my kid is eating steak, I can eat hamburger. That's fine, and that concept was you give and give and give to them. And if I miss out, or if I don't get to have everything that they have, it's okay, because I'm just giving it to my kid. So I'm gonna dress my kid in the finest of things. They're gonna have Jordans on. We're gonna have all of these different things. However, their mom is working 5 jobs to keep those Jordans on their feet, and they have no idea what's going on in their lives. And then in order to keep things going and you're by yourself, you have to, be able to, okay, well, my lights cut off, or I got to do this, I have to do this. So all these things that are going on that you have to deal with singly in home, it doesn't allow you to concentrate on your children. So my purpose in Don't Call Me a Single Mother is to realize and understand that your children are a blessing. How can I see that blessing? When I clear some of all of these things out in order to enjoy and see them fully.
Wow. That's really powerful. Because, I've actually seen women cry just at the thought of being a single mom. It's almost like it's a burden, that's on them, being a single mom. And I know that, of course, when you were in a relationship, or you had a partner or something, and then you find that you're pregnant, and at some point somewhere down the line things don't work out, or the man makes a decision that he's no longer going to be there or whatever, and it's like, for a lot of women it just breaks their spirit and their heart, and so it becomes like a burden. I mean, did you experience any of that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I experienced joint custody battle with my oldest son, which was extremely hard because it was my first kid, you know what I mean? With my first love at the time. And it was, we broke up for whatever the reasons were, at the time. And then things just got really, really ugly. And, I didn't know how to manage that and still be able to have, my kid enjoy the both of us.
Right.
Both
right.
I knew that, of course, there wasn't going to be any type of, as they say, this baby mama, baby daddy, all this other kind of drama of that such. But it escalated in a lot of ways that actually caused me to go into a nervous breakdown at one point in my life. Then I stepped into another dynamic with another young man that I had 3 kids with. And he, has been in and out, not consistent at all. And at times, at one particular time, I was dependent on what he could do or what he could do to help me in this space. And I would frustrate myself, be up at night worrying how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to pay this bill, and even blaming him, saying, you know what, if he would have did this, I wouldn't be in this place. If he was here, doing this for my children, I wouldn't be in this place. So I remember my grandfather, one year, my grandfather passed away, which was like, he was my everything. That was my father. That was like my light in this world. My grandparents were, but my grandfather, I was extremely, extremely close to. So he passed. I found out I was pregnant with my daughter. And then at that time, I had lost my job all at once. Everything was going on.
Wow.
And just maybe a couple of weeks before that, I remember sitting at the table with my children. At that time, it was just my boy. And I was telling them, I had just made this big taco dinner. And, we were sitting at the table. At that time, I was renting a condo out, right? So I just made this big taco dinner, just had all the stuff, all the fixings on the table, we're eating. And I sat them down. They were very young then. And I sat them down and I said, we're going to be really wealthy one day. And they just kind of looked at me and, this and that. And I said, and I started implementing some things in them and talking to them about certain things and certain avenues that we're going to take. And they were going to see the manifestations of those things. And so I had to put it in their terms to where they can understand, but I wanted to plant that seed. So 2 weeks later, boom, my whole world changed. Everything just collapsed, right? And I remember at that time, now I'm still in property management at that time. I just had been promoted as a property manager I was a leasing agent in that stage, working for a best friend of mine. Came there to that property just to help her and ended up being fired from there because the regional, she didn't approve, my friend, it was just messy. Anyway, ended up being fired and I was supposed to go to a higher corporate level. And I just came there just to help her out, okay, to get her property going for 3 months and boom. So all of these things transpire and I'm telling you all these details to build you up to the story. So all of these things happen. And I remember sitting in my living room, right? And I started going through all of these different things in my life. I missed a lot of little league baseball games. I missed, some extracurricular stuff because I had been working so hard, literally day to evening. They used to call my kids property manager kids because I would pick them up, bring them after it would close, bring them, finish whatever I needed to do because I was determined to push myself to a place to where I can be where I am today, to where I can see what's going on and not have to worry about minimal things such as my lights being cut off or my car being repossessed, right? All of these things happen at that time. My speaking of car being repossessed, I look out the window, my car is gone. My power was shut off at one time. Then my utilities of water, because it's a condo, everything shut down. And I remember going into the living room and it was a separate living and dining area. I remember going into the living room space. And I fell down the wall, literally in the corner, fell down the wall. And I told God that if I don't wake up in the morning, it will be okay.
Wow.
And I sat in that space and I was just, I didn't move. It was no type of emotion at that time. It's just my head was down. And I said that to him. I then received a call from my son's aunt, which she's, my aunt as well. I call her my aunt as well, Auntie Rita. And she's like, hey, babe, what's going on? How you doing? And I was like, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. And she said, what is it? So I started to tell her everything that was going on. And she knew too as well how close I was to my grandfather. Then, I find out I'm pregnant and then, I am lost my job. All these things are happening and transpiring all in the midst of all of this stuff. And so God sent an angel to me at that time when I said that, she called and she spoke life back into me again. And I was able to pick myself up off of that floor. And I was so drained and so tired. I went to bed and I fell asleep because I just literally just cried myself to sleep because finally the emotion came up to where it came out and I was just crying and crying and crying. So I cried myself to sleep. And I remember the sun shining through the window woke me up. And when I looked over, I said, never again, never again, never again will I put my trust or my, dependency on someone else to do something for me that I can do for myself. Yeah. Never again will I be this low to where I can't be able to pick myself up or be able to, speak some type of life into me and know my worth and know that I'm here for a purpose and for a plan. And never again will I be in this place to where my children will see it. Never again. So I made that declaration over my life. And when I did that, Dietrich Gary, God first, but Dietrich Gary went into execution mode. You hear me? Operation Go.
Wow.
And I tackled my career. I went in and I worked hard. It was a lot of battles, a lot of people that pushed me down, that pushed me away, based off of a lot of things. My skin being brown, them thinking that I wasn't, she's not fit to be here. She's not, fit to do this. But I was determined to get past and do what I needed to do, because my prayer was, Lord, don't allow me to get so busy to where I can't see the matters of my children's heart.
Wow.
And I got tired of being in a place of, well, I'm just trying to pay this bill, or I got to pay this light bill, or I have to do this, and then my kids are growing up and I don't know what's going on with them. I wanted God to keep my senses open. And I knew that I had to put myself in a place to where I could be financially free enough to be able to say, okay, well, at least, this part is done. I know I don't have to worry about that. So when I come home, I can come home and concentrate on my kids. I can look at them and see that something is off, But when you're worried about bills, you're worried about how things are going to come together. You're worried about if they're going to pick up your car tonight. Do I need to go hide it somewhere? You're worried about, okay, what are they going to eat tonight? Because I don't even have enough to eat for myself,
right.
Then your head isn't concentrating on the kids, and they do become a burden at that point, because it's like, well, I gotta, and you can't stop, and you can't and you can't realize, like, hey, these babies are a blessing. And I was once again determined, that whole cliche of, well, my kids can eat steak and I'll eat hamburger. No, ma'am. I want to eat steak too. And I'm going to make sure that we eat it together. Okay. And there was some hard and some trying times to where I couldn't eat with them. You understand what I mean? So I had to push and give more than I did to myself. But now, fast forward, it was in my heart's desire and my determination in order for us to eat together. I wanted us to enjoy life together. I wanted to be able to raise them effectively and be able to see them effectively without worrying about the everyday cares that we have to worry about as a single parent.
Wow. I appreciate what you just said when you were talking about your kids eating steak and you and having to eat hamburger, because I know a lot of single parents, single women can relate to that, because they do make that sacrifice, and making sure that their children have more than they do, or have the best, and then they just make do. When you were talking about that, it brought back some memories for me, because I did that. I made sure that my daughter, that she had something to eat, even if I didn't. Mm-hmm. But then later on, one of the things that I did as things got better was I started exposing her to different restaurants and stuff like that. And so we would go to places like Houston's together, or to Papados together, and we stayed at the mall. I felt like, as time went on, and I began to things changed, and there was more money coming in, and so I wanted her to see that she could have better things. So I appreciate you saying that. So you have the three kids at this point. You're pregnant with the fourth, right?
Yes.
So how did things change when you had the fourth baby?
They absolutely completely spiraled in an upward position. I even, my outlook is what changed. When you take off the restraints, and you believe, you persevere, and that thing called resilience, you just push through, and you build that skin to be able, I don't care what comes or what may go, I'm going to achieve this, and I'm going to do it for my children.
Right.
It's just nothing. There's not anyone in this world that can tell me that there's not anything that you can't do.
Wow.
I have single parents or single moms, and that will talk to me even in my field of work, that would come in and they would say stuff. I remember maybe around the holiday season, for instance, where they'll be like, well, I couldn't do this. I couldn't pay my rent because I had to get the kids for Christmas. You understand. And they would try to play on my emotion because they knew I was a single parent, right?
Right.
And no. We're not going to do that, because right. I'm the wrong person that you want to talk to about struggle and about what's important. You have to put your priorities in order. You have to know and teach your kids, because guess what? If you didn't have a place to stay, where you going to plug in that game at, girl? Where's it going to go? Yes. Huh? So we got to get out of the mindset of buying things and just saying, okay, well, I want to get these things. I want to get these things for my kids because that's going to make them feel or look like, they're taken care of. No, you have to clear your heart, your mind, your spirit, set yourself up to be able to have a revenue that can come in, one job, if possible, to have one position to right. be able to take care of your entire home until that mate comes, because you're the only one that your kids are dependent on. They're pulling everything that they need from you. So you can't have 20 jobs, just to put Jordans on their feet. You have to be able, if you are in the middle of a grind season, to get to a stable place to where you can consolidate down to one, then that's fine. But your objective and your mindset has to change to what the big picture is. And the big picture is to be available, to be open, your spirit and your heart for your children, because they have a lot of things going on. I mean, a lot of things in their heart, in their mind. They're growing. They need you to teach them. They need you to help groom them and mold them into who they need to be and identify their purpose. They don't know any of these things. And how are they going to get it? They're going to learn it from someone out on the street or their friends or try to figure it out? No, you have to make yourself available for your children so that they can be able to know that, okay, well, mom, she may have had a stressful day today, but I'll be able to go to her, this and that, or I can go to her at any time because her spirit and her heart is open. She's not burning down and just like, oh, I'm too tired to deal with this. What have you got going on? No, set your priorities straight. When you have a family and you have a home and you have children, set your mind. And I am the poster child that you can do it. I'm the one that when you look at me, you have to know I have 5 kids. People ask me every single day, how do you do it? And you happen to look the way that you look. Like, how do you do it? I had a friend of mine tell me, like, girl, you ain't in a struggle. Your teeth white and everything. Wow. How do you do it? First and foremost is God. There's nothing that I can't do without him. And he's got to show me and lead me, because there's things that I can't do in my own power. I can walk in, I can feel their spirit, and I can see things, but God is the one that gives me the revelation of what's going on with them. He's the one that directs me toward, okay, well, guess what? This one, listen, you better go in there and look at this one, or talk to this one about this, because he off or she off or this and that. But how could I receive or hear that when I'm full with the troubles of what's going on in my life, and what I have to do and what I have to pay for? How can I receive or be able to hear anything from God if I'm not empty? So I have to position myself to be empty, to be able to get filled back up, to do what I need to do for my kids.
Wow. That's and when you talk about being available, that is so critical, because their little minds do wander, and there's no telling the sorts of things that they're thinking, and so you do have to make yourself available. When I moved here to Atlanta 30 some odd years ago, I worked one job for about maybe 2 months. No, I don't even think it was 2 months. I think it was 2 weeks. And I didn't want to trust her with just anybody. Mm-hmm. And so while it was a struggle in the beginning, I made the decision that I wasn't going to work for anybody, because especially as she got a little older and she was in school, I wanted to be able to drop her off, pick her up. If she had any type of school activities or whatever, I wanted to make sure that I was available to be able to go, or whether it was a school trip or whatever. And I did that until she graduated high school, and so I thought being available was more important than anything. And so during that time, we did have some struggles. We may not have had everything that we may have wanted, but we definitely, we had the things that we needed. But being available to me was more important. So you've got some amazing kids, and I've been around them a couple of times, and they are very well mannered, and they're loving kids. They love each other, and that's kind of, wow, that's kind of hard. That's kind of hard to have 5 kids and they love with each other. I've spoken with you at times when you were out working and the boys were taking care of the girls. They made sure that they were doing their homework or whatever. And that is that says a lot about who you are. And sister, I have to tell you, you've done an amazing job. You really have. So now the 4th baby comes. Do you have help with her?
No. No, this is, same situation, 3, and he's just in and out, things of that such. However, I was in a different place at that point. Financially, I was going up to I had been, went from a leasing agent straight to a property manager. And was learning the ropes with that. And it was a small property, so it's definitely not what, I'm making now. But, it was just building my resume and building my career at that time. So I was definitely in a different space and a different, place with that. But as I said, it was just kind of and it's, just in and out. And, so my dependency, on that situation of what he was or was not doing just didn't matter anymore. If he did it, that was awesome. If he didn't, I already provided for it, you
Right.
know? And once again, you know, it's a desire, of course, of mine that my children were to see the design of what marriage is really about. And I ended up having another one, which is my last and final child. She's 6.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you know, I've been even now explaining to them, you know, and he has been like all of their dad. This, you know, my final daughter, and has been an amazing. Like, we have the best co-parenting relationship. It's unbelievable, like unbelievable. And it's what I prayed for and what I wanted, because, you know, in relationships, as you know, there's tension, and, you know, people get upset and, oh, well, you ain't with them anymore. And then, you know, and things start going different ways. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, the kids get affected in that situation, which is super duper unfortunate. However, you know, in my heart, and the things, even though it didn't, you know, work out with him, we have an amazing co-parenting relationship. We've been apart now for 5 years. He's still been there even now, like, you know, with them. So whether he goes off and get married, I go off and get married, whatever it is, we're always going to have that family dynamic, which is awesome. So I did get a chance to experience a co-parenting relationship, and it's very, very, very important that you have a village, because you cannot do this alone.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And once again, I want you guys to get the clear message that it's not Deetra alone. You know, I thank God that He's allowed me to be able to be a blessing to my children and to be able to see the fruits of my labor through them. It's a blessing to watch.
Mm-hmm.
However, it wasn't all done in my power and alone. I had to have a village of people. And sometimes when you're building that village is seasonal, and it may change. You know, you have this at this particular time of where you are in your life, and then you have this particular, as they grow, you know, you may sometimes have the same people that go along the whole ride, but there's others that may have to be adjusted or added to. But you have to have a village of people that are surrounded around your children, that are in it for the same reason that you are, you know? And I had that. I definitely had that. And I had to formulate. And just like you said earlier, it was really hard. Like, they weren't allowed to go anywhere. You know, like, I'm the mom that has the parties. I'm the party girl. But y'all got to come to my house, you know, because I know what's going on over here. You know what I mean? We can go and have a good time. I'll take y'all anywhere y'all want. But listen, I got to keep my eyes on you. I got to see what's going on.
Right.
And I can probably count on my hand how many times my kids have been with anybody, or if they have, to even spend the night. But back to the village thing, I want to give you a story with Jordan, my soon-to-be 18-year-old. He's probably listening now, but, you know, who cares? But he was at a place in his life when he was younger, struggling with his father not being there, right? And I didn't know it. I had no idea what he was, you know. I knew that he was rebelling, you know, quite a bit, and his temperament is very quiet, reserved, you know, so that rebelling spirit just didn't match up with him, you know. So I knew something was off, but I couldn't put my finger on it. And he went to his school counselor on his own.
Wow.
On his own, like in the 5th grade. Hello? Oh, 5th grade. Went to his school counselor on his own to talk to her about the things that he was feeling in his heart. So she had been having him journal, you know. Now, this had been going on for like some weeks, and I didn't even know it, right? And finally, I got a call from her, because I guess it escalated, because he came down one day just really upset and crying and feeling some kind of way. And she had to speak with him, and she said, you know what? Well, now, you know, maybe I should, bring you in on this, but Jordan has been coming to me, and blah, 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 blah. So she explained, who she was and all these things. And I'm going to be honest, Charmaine, at first I was offended, because I was like, well, why didn't he come to me, And we have this big S on our chest, right? And we're like, we can do everything. We can do it all, No, he needs to, why didn't they come to me? Why didn't he such? I wasn't saying this to her, but this is what I was feeling. And my feelings were hurt. I felt some kind of way because I just felt like, okay, if he would have came to me, I would have definitely been there. I would have been able to do this and da 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 da. But then God revealed to me, you can't do everything alone and on your own. You can't. I had disciples that walked with me. So what makes you, think that you can just walk around here and be the wonder and do it all by yourself? You cannot. And so after I heard that and I let that piece go, I was able to, okay, I need her. I need a village, and I need someone to help me get through what I need to get through to Jordan. And so we worked together, and it came, long story short, it came to a resolution in his heart. And it was some experience that he had with his dad that he was holding towards me, thinking that it was my fault that he wasn't around. And I had no idea about it. So right. I had to have a heart to heart with him. And another thing as single parents, I want to throw this out. Don't down your partner to your children. They will see what you do and they will see what that other parent does.
That's right.
So I never, ever said your dad is nothing or your dad didn't do this or he's not, never, because that's not for me to say or to do or plant a seed, because they're already dealing with enough with the dysfunction of you guys not being together. And then to add that on and make that other parent, whatever you're feeling because you're in an emotional state concerning it, it's not fair to your children.
Right.
So I've never done that. Right. So when we came to this space and we had to talk about things, I had to have a heart to heart with him. And I had to teach him a lesson on, you pay attention to what people's actions. They can tell you things all day long. Well, I did this and I feel like this towards you. But those words need to match their action behind it. And I'm talking to a fifth grader about life, at this particular point and how things are. And so we got to a place to where we had to heal. But if I did not have, and her name was Mrs. Mackey, I love you if you're watching. If I did not have Mrs. Mackey in this place as a part of my village at that time, who would have known where Jordan would have taken that aggression? You know what I mean? He wouldn't have progressed in the way. It would have just built up and built up more into this big rebellious, circle causing at the same time to where, he could have been in a whole different direction in life and it hurt and pain. And I wouldn't have known anything about it, Absolutely. So it's important to have a village.
Wow. So I believe that we have a caller. So caller, if you are on the line, you're on the air. So go ahead with your question or your comment.
I really don't have a comment. This is Beatrice's mom. and I live in Alabama and I was having some internet problems. So I just decided to do it by phone number today. It is well. I just called in to be a part of the talk show today.
Wow. Thank you.
Hey, darling. Your mama couldn't get through no other way. So I said, oh, well, okay, I know there's another way to do this. So I do this for a moment. And now I'm on board. God bless everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us today, ma'am. Thank you. Deidre, what I heard you say was that it is important for us to identify I'm saying the word tribe, but the village. It's
Mhm.
important to identify who is around us or who God has sent to be a part of that village. And so many times, because of shame or pride or whatever, we don't want to disclose to people the things that we're going through. Even you mentioned the teacher or the counselor at the school, and how, you know, when you first heard it, you became offensive or defensive about the fact that he went to her first. But in essence, she was a part of the village. What do you say to, you know, our viewers about identifying the those people that are a part of the village?
Well, first and foremost, depending on where you are, um, you know, in the aspect of your kid and where they are in life and what's needed.
Mhm.
You can know what to identify with that. You definitely have to have a support system, you know, depending on your career, what you're doing, someone that you can trust, that can you know, be a watch, what I call a watchtower over your children, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.
Um, that they can feel confident in coming, you know, to, whether it's a grandparent, whether it's a uncle or an aunt or something of that such, or even a best friend, you know. But don't be afraid to go or outside of your circle to give them what they need. Um, for me, I ask for guidance in order for God to surround me. And that's been another prayer for me. There's been many prayers on this journey, but another prayer is to surround me with people that, and my children with people that will push them towards their destiny and towards their purpose in this
Wow,
life.
good.
Um, and I know that it's going to take more than just me, because it took more than just me for me to get pushed into my place of destiny and where I am. So that has been another prayer that I've had for my kids. But you have to, you know where your child is, understand, okay, well, if they're in sports, all right, have to partner with a person that can pick them up when you're late and then you pick them up the next time, or things of that such, or partner with a parent that has the same ideals and the same passions and same goals concerning their family. you know um you just have to partner yourself, but there's no way and I stress this, you cannot, you can try, but you'll be laid out. Okay. You cannot do this thing alone, and don't try to, and some people may, well, I don't know anyone, I'm just now, getting in it. Ask God to send you who needs to come around and in your life and in the place that they're in, because it's dependent on your child's growth. It's dependent on their purpose. It's dependent on the fruits, every seed that you have planted being watered, that's dependent on that. And you want to make sure that everything that's needed in order for this tree to grow, that you have that space to be able to, allow people in your life. Don't push them away. If, of course, you would know if it's good or if it's bad. You know what I mean? You would know and you would understand, okay, well, this isn't going to work. And if you get a person in your circle and it doesn't work, it's all right. You move on to the next thing. But you've got to be in a space as well to where you can hear and see, because a lot of things aren't going to always be verbalized to you. You understand? And
Right.
if your heart and your mind and your spirit is not clear to be able to pick up or be intuitive enough to pick up on that, then things can kind of go through the cracks sometimes, which is why there's another prayer. Lord, do not allow me to get so consumed or so busy to where I can't see the matters of my kid's heart.
Wow, that's good. That's really, really, really good. And that was one of the reasons why, I didn't want to work a job and be confined to someone's 9 to 5 or punching a clock. And I know that there are many, many mothers who have to. But for me, I wanted to make sure that I knew that she was protected. And I did have a village. I remember clearly I had a girlfriend and her husband that at times, like when my daughter had started going to high school, I would drop her off to school, but there were times when I had errands to run or business things to take care of, and I couldn't get back to pick her up in time. So my daughter would ride the school bus to their home. And so she would be there to get my daughter, and she stayed there until I got there. There were times when I remember one incident where my daughter, she was in what grade was she? Oh, she was 5th grade. Was she? I think she was in 5th grade. She was in elementary school. And I was sick. I was at home sick. And she went to their home for the weekend, and she needed a violin for music. And she needed it that weekend. And so because I wasn't able to go and get it, my girlfriend's husband said, "Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it." And so he took her, he picked up the violin, he put it in his name, and that violin remained in his name for many years until it was paid for. And so that's a part of the village, people that love and care about you and your children and your well-being. And so they're there to help pick up some of the slack. Now, one of the things that I'm also picking up is they're not the parent. They're not a substitute for who you are.
Yes.
They're an addition, but they're not a substitute for who you are. And so one of the things that I tried never to do was to go out partying and have them to babysit. Yeah. And I didn't allow my friends to do that with me. When they would ask me to babysit, I'm like, okay, where are you going?
Yeah.
Are you going to work? If you got to go to work, then I understand. But if you're just going out and have yourself a good time, then no, we ain't doing that. Especially not on a regular basis, don't want to make that a habit. So I think that's important too. There was something else I wanted to ask you. How do you feel about when we celebrate mothers on Mother's Day, and we should be celebrated every day, but we celebrate mothers on Mother's Day. How do you feel when mothers are celebrated on Father's Day? How do you feel about that?
Ooh, that's a big trigger for me. I'm gonna make a few people mad. But I used to get text messages until I stopped it. People would be like, "Happy Father's Day to you too, Deetra. We see you, we see what you're doing, and this and that," and I would be like, "What? I'm what? Happy Father's Day? I'm not their dad, and I'm not gonna ever claim to be their dad, and I'm definitely not gonna pick up their role as their dad, because my role alone is more than enough." Right. Okay, and I can celebrate myself with being just me, being a mother. I don't need to take two roles to make me feel any better, because my role as a mother is more than enough. Honey, we are producing life around here. Do you understand that? These men ain't producing life. We producing life. God gave us the ability to produce life. Now you match that. So I don't need to add another anything title to anything because their father may or may not be in the picture at the time. And it's rather offensive, you know, to me. And that's a part, once again, of that quote unquote, you know, single parent, single mom thing, you know. And I would see posts on social media where people are like, you know, well, happy, you know, Father's Day, or shout out to my mom because my dad wasn't there, and this and that. And I just think it comes out of a place of pain,
Yeah.
you know, a place of hurt. But when you get past that pain and that hurt of, you know, that dad not being there or being in that place, you will give him what's owed to him. Because at the end of the day, you could not make this child without him, you know, and him not being there is definitely a factor and has hurt not only yourself, but your children. But at the same time, he is, as Maury Povich say, he is the father, okay? And you can't take that away. And I would never want to take that away, because you have to get in a place of forgiveness, and you have to get in a space and a mindset of this doesn't have to always be this way. You know, that man can turn around. He can be a better person, and he can come back, you know, better late than never. And show up and do and try to come back in to repair. And that space should be open to allow him to do that, because that I know within myself and the things that I had to deal with my dad not being constant or consistent in my life, you know, there were some places that I had to repair, and that went on from my childhood to my adulthood and caused me to attract different things because I didn't have any resolution or repair there. So I grew off of my pain. But if you allow that man to come back in this space, you know, and not be angry or be upset with him or degrade or, you know, get yourself out of the picture and just be you and be mom for them, and allow God to come in and mend and come in and do the work, he may come back around and do what he's supposed to do. And guess what? He is, once again, he is the father, and he should be allowed to be the father.
Absolutely.
Now, there has been some instances and some things that have gone on to where my children have had to make a decision on, you know, okay, well, I'm not really, you know, I don't know right now. I'm feeling in a certain kind of space with my dad. You know, I don't know if I even want to, you know, go and, you know, I stay neutral as far as, okay, well, what you can't do is build up any hate towards him because he's still your dad. You know, you can't build up a place of, you know, coming to where you're numb and you don't feel. That's not good either, you know? So that has to be a constant conversation with your children on how they process things, but they can't see you, you know, taking the credit. Oh, hey, you know, yep, happy Father's Day to me too. Let's go celebrate again and this and this and that, because you're not the dad. Let it go. You're the mom.
Right.
Right. Just be the mom.
And it does give a false sense of what a father is and what a father should look like. Father's not a mom, you know, mothers are mothers. And I totally agree with something that you said earlier when you said that you never spoke ill of your children's father, that you don't speak ill of your children's fathers. I didn't either. My daughter's father decided she was 2 years old that he no longer wanted to be a part of her life. And I didn't quite understand why. So therefore, I just didn't have any bitterness in my heart, you know, to speak those things against him, because I knew that it would affect her. I chose to be in that relationship. I chose to be partnered with him that produced her. And so therefore it was my choice. So now I can't use that now against him. And so, and it it would hurt her in hearing those things. So I think she was probably about the age of 11, 12 when he reappeared in her life. And so she then was able to make a decision based on her relationship with him as to what type of person he was. But it wasn't based on anything I said. I didn't say, you're no good, your father's no good, and he's this and he's that. No, she now had an opportunity to learn for herself who her father really was, if he was a good person, a bad person, or otherwise. And I think that that door should always be open. There should be, children should have that opportunity, if it's given to them, to have that relationship with their father.
Yeah. I do have a statement.
Yeah. So Mom, Deidre's mom, was there something that you wanted to say?
Yes, very briefly. I would like to say to all parents now, whether married or single, wherever you may be in life right now, it's very important for you to understand. And I'm going to make a statement, and I might bust somebody's bubble, but I want you to hear this with clarity what I'm about to say. In this day and in this hour, it's more important that you know your child's mental health is more important than their grades. Now, don't get me wrong. The grades are very important, but there are a lot of things that children, teenagers are dealing with now in their mental state. And their mental state of mind is more important than their grades. So just kind of ponder on that and let your mind marinate on that, because our young people are facing a lot of different challenges, oppositions in life now, a lot of things that we didn't face coming up as children. So their mental state is extremely important. So never get too busy to tap into the mind of your child.
Wow, that's
Not
good.
fair.
That's good. That's real powerful, because we do need to, as parents, we do need to keep that in mind. Sometimes I watch my granddaughter as she's walking around and she's doing little things, and I have that thought, what is she thinking? Because their minds are racing. I think it was, was it Kathy, Deidre, who said that we have 5,000 thoughts, is it per day, per minute, whatever it was.
Minute.
It's a lot. That's a lot. So, I mean, imagine us as adults, having that many thoughts per day, and then compare it to children, and their little minds haven't even fully been developed yet. So I think that is very, very important. That was a very important statement. And so
the which also ties into, the space that you're in as a single parent. You have to clear out all of those things that surround you and make plans and priorities that support your family, to be able to see or feel that. We talked about or touched on that earlier in the conversation. If you don't make that space or make yourself available, it's hard for you to see or hear anything. I know, when you're worried about just everyday things that you have to do. But if you position yourself and in a place to where, I need to be here, in order for me to be able to be functional within my family and be able to, coexist. Because a lot of homes they're coming in now, it's just a house. You haven't even had a chance to make it a home because you're so busy with life. You're so busy with going back and forth and trying to provide. But what are you providing for them internally? What are you providing and setting up for them for the long run? You know, are they having to learn this outside? Are they having to learn it from TV? Are they having to learn it from Instagram? Where are they learning these foundations and these, you know, these things that are going to set them up for greatness? Where are they learning, or where can they come to when they're in pain and they're hurting, you know? And some, like I said, there are a lot of times, even with my children, they wouldn't say it per se to me. You know, I would have to look, you know, and see something the other day with my son Christian, you know, with this coronavirus and things that's going on now. He was like really like distressed, you know, because he's used to being active. He's used to going, and now we're in this quarantine space, and I'm definitely not allowing them to live life like, you know, it was before, because I don't want them to contract anything, especially with them having asthma and all that. All it takes is one, it'll go through the whole house and be a mess. So, you know, I'm definitely showing restraint as far as with them with that. But the other night I walked upstairs from work. It was late. And I looked and I went in his room, and I just felt his spirit, you know? And I said, "What's going on with you?" And he was like, "Oh, nothing, you know, I'm good." I said, "Nah." I said, "I'm about to take a shower. I'm gonna give you some time to get yourself together. I'm gonna take a shower real quick, and I need you to meet me downstairs." So I went downstairs, you know, get food and stuff, and he didn't come. So of course I went behind him. Okay. And so I went back up there and I said, "Hey, what's going on?" And so finally he said, "You know, it's just all this stuff. Like, I'm just used to doing these things and I'm just not doing anything. And it's just getting to me. I miss my friends. You know what I mean? I'm just, you know, and that seems small and minimal to us, right? You know, we're like, oh, you know, like we're doing this every day. But it means a lot to him and kids his age, because that's all they know. That's what they've been used to for years. And for that to change in their life and the dynamic in their life, it's like, oh my God. So what I did not want is for him to be depressed or be put in a place of, you know what I mean? And they're here every day. So we came together. I talked with him. All of us, you know, prayed together at night. So we prayed together. And that next morning I was activated, like, listen, I got to get him, even if it's in training right now, something to where he can feel like, you know, because of his mental state, you know, where he was and what he was feeling. I didn't know where it was going to take it. But if I had, God came here, for instance, and just went to bed, and then take time to walk around and look at everybody's face and see what's going on with them, I could have missed that.
Right. That's very important. I know that you are currently working on your book. Is it called "Don't Call Me a Single Mother"?
It is. It is "Don't Call Me a Single Mother." And I know we're kind of pressed for time. I'm wearing my other hat. I'm wearing two hats right now, Charmaine. I'm on one end or the other end. So it is called "Don't Call Me a Single Mother." Definitely working on that. And just giving, you know, some guidance, some testimonials on, you know, where I am and what the purpose of "Don't Call Me a Single Mother" is. And the biggest thing is, don't let anyone call you. Don't call me a single mother. Don't put me in a stereotype. Don't put me in a place to where, you know, I can't do anything or put any limits on me. There's not anything that I can't do, especially through Christ Jesus, honey. Don't tell me that I can't raise a family, raise boys, raise girls to do and be what God has called for them to be. Don't tell me that I can't take my kids on vacation and love on them and be able to enjoy them. They're blessings. They are blessings and not burdens. Wow. So that is my decree as a "Don't Call Me a Single Mother," because I'm taking off the restraints off of you. I'm taking off the limits off of you because there's nothing that you cannot do. And you have got to get in the mind space, set your priorities straight, and put a plan together for you and your children and execute that plan and let nothing and nobody stop you from getting to that goal and getting to that plan. So it's a don't call me a single mother is a declaration.
Wow.
So all single parents, to everybody, especially mothers, because we take on so many things, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, in every way. And I want to be able to present myself, as I said earlier, as the poster child that you can do it. You can enjoy your children. You can go on vacations with them. You can eat steak with them, okay? You can go out and be able to see and watch that child from whatever age, 5, 6, 7, and then they're graduating from high school and be fulfilled and know that you gave them absolutely everything that you possibly could, and not just material things, but I was able to put things inside of them. I was able to be able to water them in the place that they were in, because I made it my intention to clear my heart, my mind, my spirit, to not let it, and let me help you understand something as well. That does not mean that things are not going to come. That does not mean that you won't get knocked down and you won't be picked and you have to pick yourself back up. That does not mean that you won't cry yourself to sleep. That does not mean that you can't make ends meet at some particular point. But what it does mean is I'm not going to allow anything to stop me, because I have an agenda, I have a plan, I have executed it, and if God before me, who can be against me? And I'm going to do everything that I can to reach that mark. And now, not only will I bless my children's life, but then my children's children will be blessed. And this will become a generational thing, because it's bigger than me and it's bigger than you. And they're here. They didn't ask to be here. But guess what? God purposed them to be here, and you got a work to do. And you have to put it in your mind and your spirit and your heart that nothing is going to stop me from them getting to the purpose and the place and the destiny that God has called forth in their life. And thank you, Lord, for using me as a tool for them. Give me and ask God, just pray this prayer and ask God, because you've already been equipped with everything that you need. There are some kids, some moms that are dealing with, kids with special needs. And they're tired and they're frustrated and they don't know what to do. They're kids who have behavioral issues, or they're just kids with normal kid stuff. But you have everything that you need in you. And all you have to do is go to God and ask him, activate these things within me, God. Show me what I need to do. Direct me into the places. Show me the things that I can't see. Help me to get to the places within them, Lord Father God, that I don't understand at this moment. I can't reach them by cooking them a dinner. I can't reach them by just holding their hand. There's something eternal that I need to get to, and I can't do it without you. So just go to God and ask him to help you. And I'm telling you, you will see the fruits of your labor.
Wow. Powerful. That is powerful. Powerful, Deidre. Deidre, for those women who may want to reach out to you, how can they get a hold of you? We know that you're always here as the co-host of Real Women Atlanta Live, but outside of the show, how can they get a hold of you for advice or for help?
Okay. Well, I have started a hashtag of Don't Call Me a Single Mother. I was just premiered on PBS this past Sunday with me and my girls. And I have a company called Cupcakes and Coffee Art, as most of you know. So that was incorporated with art and us having family time and spending time together. So you definitely can stream that episode. It's American Portrait. And it's the family special. So you definitely can stream that and follow that. And then also, my Facebook page is Deetra Gary. And then my Instagram is Ms. MZDDEEDAWN. And I started a hashtag of Don't Call Me a Single Mother. And on that hashtag, you'll be able to see us in all of our glory, the Gary family, okay, with everything that we're doing and everything that's going on in our lives. There's pictures of us. There's pictures of their events. There's our vacations are on there. Just enjoying family, enjoying life, and allowing people to see that this can really happen. So those are the avenues you can reach me.
Awesome. Well, to our viewers, thank you again for joining us today on Real Women Atlanta Live. I knew that Deetra had an amazing story with Don't Call Me a Single Mom. And so for all of the mothers that are out there that are doing this alone, or you think you're doing it alone, I wanted you to hear how powerful her story has been, and she's doing it. She's making it happen, and so reach out to her. We don't want you to feel like you're by yourself. Let's maybe we can help you to identify who your village is, and get you some help. So we will be here again next Saturday, always at the same time. Same place.
I love you, girl.
I love you, girl. Thank you for joining us. And as always, we say our thanks and love and appreciation to our station manager, Mr. Raheem, who always supports us and does an amazing job. Thank you so much. We love you.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Have a great one.